News. Thank you. Melania just dropped everything for sudden solo international trip after getting horrible news. Melania Trump is embarking on her third international trip since becoming the First Lady, but this time is going alone. With her full plate in Washington, D.C. both in her official role and her personal one of being a hands-on mom, she didn't hesitate to drop everything after hearing what happened. What makes this sudden excursion especially monumental isn't just that she's going alone for the first time. It also proves something truly special about her that Americans haven't seen yet, but have waited 8 long years for a First Lady like this incredible woman. The announcement of this particular trip could haven't been more ironic and perfect. Just hours ago, President Donald Trump sent out one of his most infamous Twitter messages yet, sending liberals in America into a complete meltdown. Early Wednesday morning, he let every citizen of our nation know that transgendered individuals would no longer be allowed to serve in the military. This was a decision made in the best interest of the world's best military and the importance of maintaining that status. We're in volatile times right now with the Islamic State on the rise, more frequent terrorist attacks, and North Korea threatening to use a nuclear weapon on America. Our military is the backbone to our freedom and needs to be top-notch in defending all that we hold dear, not used as a social experiment where people experimenting with a new gender can go to make a political point. Our military is the backbone to our freedom and needs to be top-notch in defending all that we hold dear, not used as a social experiment where people experimenting with a new gender can go to make a political point. This important policy change opened the doors for a new wave of attacks on the Trumps, just as it seemed to settle a little bit for both Donald and Melania. The news that Melania is heading to Toronto, Canada couldn't have come at a better time, although it was not planned that way. The timing of what she's going for couldn't have been better after an onslaught of attacks that began yesterday toward her husband after alerting everyone to the transgender soldier ban. Melania will be heading to our northern neighbors in September to meet with Britain's very endearing Prince Harry, who will be in Canada carrying out a very incredible purpose. It was important for Melania to be involved in it too after learning about who else will be there. USA Today reports, First Lady Melania Trump is headed to Toronto in September on her first solo foreign trip, to attend Prince Harry's third Invictus Games for Wounded Warriors. Trump's office announced Thursday she will lead the U.S. delegation of 90 athletes slated to compete at the Games September 23 to 30th. Her spokeswoman, Stephanie Grisham, said Trump will also meet Harry, who founded the Invictus Games in 2014, inspired by the Warrior Games in Denver he attended during a week-long visit to the U.S. in 2013. Melania's love and respect for America's military has been no secret, even though liberals refuse to see that. This is especially the case with the left now in light of her husband's ban on transgender soldiers, which he wasn't the first to impose, as Bill Clinton's policy dubbed Don't Ask, Don't Tell, banned openly gay soldiers from serving in our military, but I digress. More than 550 wounded servicemen and women from 17 allied nations are expected to compete in Toronto in such sports as archery, indoor rowing, powerlifting, sitting volleyball, swimming, and wheelchair basketball, tennis and rugby, USA Today added. Prince Harry at her past Invictus Games, although an immigrant, Melania has more love and respect for those who serve this country and defend our freedom than most liberals do, and certainly more than her predecessor Michelle Obama did. Melania has made an effort to always show her appreciation for service members no matter where she's at and what she's doing. Even when she was overseas the first time, she didn't forget about the awesome Army men who she publicly thanked on Twitter going into Memorial Day weekend. She did this again on Independence Day this year by dedicating her speech to these heroes at the White House party. She even went out of her way to visit a badly wounded warrior in recovery at Walter Reed. Just as they have before, the liberals will likely go on the attack again at her involvement in this incredible cause. With her past public praise of our military and now in response to Trump's transgender ban, the left has brought their tired argument about Trump allegedly being a draft dodger to the surface once again as ammo. They can't grasp that not serving in the military is not dodging it, otherwise, the majority of his haters would probably also be draft dodgers. What's truly remarkable is that Melania is an immigrant and has more respect for our armed forces and genuine love for our country than ungrateful degenerates who were born here and seem to hate it. Our First Lady is proof that immigrants who come to America the right way are proud citizens who have a deep appreciation for what makes America great, and that starts with our military. Ill parents desperate for Trump's healthcare repeal take shocking action after McCain. As you probably know by now, the Senate was unable to pass the repeal of the socialist healthcare that former President Obama rammed through while in office. Despite the years of complaining and promising by our representatives in Washington, and after 7 years of time to get their plan just right, when the time came, they screwed the pooch and didn't get the job done. This is awful on a financial and economic level because the UN Affordable Care Act is putting a terrible strain on our economy and undue stress on the healthcare system. It's awful on a long-term care level because not only will the best and brightest not work in public hospitals where they may or may not get paid, but the government is going to get to decide who gets the care since they're footing the bill. And if all of that wasn't enough, the hard-working men and women who pay taxes, previously had insurance and get sick through the natural course of life are being made to pay huge out-of-pocket costs that they would never have had to pay with private insurance. It's gotten so bad that many have gotten desperate enough to take drastic measures. It's sad to think that something that was billed as healthcare could plunge people into such disrepair that they lose all hope, but that was the case with one New York couple who just couldn't take the bills they would have been leaving behind them, if they'd lived through their health problems at all. This couple decided, immediately after the healthcare repeal failed, that they couldn't go on, and made the decision to end their own lives. Via Daily Mail, a couple committed suicide by jumping out of a window of a New York City office building together in desperation over their inability to afford health care. The incident happened early Friday morning in the Murray Hill neighborhood of Manhattan, just a block from the Empire State Building. A 53-year-old man and a 50-year-old woman jumped out of a 9th-floor window of the 17-story commercial building on the corner of Madison Avenue and 33rd Street around 5:45 am. Their bodies were covered with white sheets once police arrived at the scene, shutting down the entire block to investigate. The couple left behind suicide notes in a Ziploc bag, that also included their IDs. Police have not released their names yet, but a photo obtained by the New York Post shows part of the letter, and it identifies the woman as Patricia. The note was titled "We Had a Wonderful Life." A law enforcement source who spoke with the Post said the woman's note said, "Our kids are upstairs, please take care of them." The man left one behind too, which read, "We both have medical issues, we just can't afford the health care." The building that the couple jumped from includes offices for law and advertising firms, therapists' offices and commercial space. No further information on the couple has been released. It's unclear how many children they left behind. Perry Kim, 49, a worker at Pure Green, a juice shop on the same block, said that he was outside just after 5:30 a.m. this morning when he heard a noise and saw two people fall from the top of the building. The man appeared to hit his head and the woman had suffered abdominal injuries. They landed face up to the sky. He said his manager called 911 and police and EMTs were there soon after, but the bodies were immediately covered. Javier Guzman, who works at the shoe repair shop across the street, told DailyMail.com that he had come into work around 6:45 a.m. and had seen the couple lying in the street. He said, "I didn't recognize them, but they looked young, in their 40s. He said he believed they had jumped from the 9th-floor window which remained open. The couple committed suicide just a few hours after Senate Republicans tried to pass a bill that would repeal Obamacare. But 3 members of their own party, including Senator John McCain, voted against the bill and it failed to pass, keeping the Affordable Care Act in place for now. Sen. McCain said that he voted against the bill because it was irresponsible to take health care away from millions of Americans without a new plan to replace it. For confidential help, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-2738-255 or click here. For confidential support on suicide matters in the UK, call the Samaritans on 0845 790 9090, Visit a local Samaritan's branch or click here. We hope that if any of our readers have any thoughts of harming themselves, that they do take advantage of the help that's available and just a phone call away. There are times when all of us have our backs against the wall. No one is exempt and you are not alone. Life and health have betrayed many of us at some time, but while there's life, there's hope. Sometimes it's hard to see, and sometimes it looks like you might never get there, but ending your own life isn't the answer. And as for the overgrown fat cats in the Senate that decided their petty grievances were more important than giving hard-working Americans the relief that they need, I pray they feel this blood on their hands from this day forward. I hope they understand that these aren't just numbers on a page, they are mothers and fathers and sons and daughters whose only hope is in a system that they have no control over. Shame on every single one of our representatives for not doing what it takes to rid our country of this strain on our ability to get well. May you never forget the pain and suffering of this family, and every family burdened by what you've done. Source: Daily Mail. Share if you think people should know what Obamacare has done to this family. Breaking: Comey in hiding after what top FBI attorney was just nailed for. Everyone's going down now. Reports are confirming now that former FBI Director James Comey has gone into hiding and is nowhere to be seen. Everyone knows by now that James Comey is only loyal to one person, James Comey. But after being a media whore for weeks, he finally decided it might be a good idea to lay low for a while after he found out who might actually be the person behind all those media leaks that have been coming out since President Donald Trump took office. Shortly after, the Department of Justice Attorney General Jeff Sessions said that he would soon be making an announcement regarding the progress of the leak investigations. Sources are now reporting that Comey's own guy and close confidant at the FBI might be the one behind the leaks. FBI General Counsel James A. Baker is the main individual currently being investigated for leaking classified information to the media. FBI General Counsel James A. Baker is the main individual currently being investigated for leaking classified information to the media. FBI website reports, Director James B. Comey has selected James A. Baker as the FBI's General Counsel. Most recently, Mr. Baker was an Associate General Counsel for Bridgewater Associates, LP. After clerking for the Honorable Bernard A. Friedman in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan, Mr. Baker joined the Department of Justice, DOJ, with the Criminal Division through the Attorney General's Honors Program in 1990 and worked as a federal prosecutor with the division's Fraud Section. In 1996, Mr. Baker joined the former Office of Intelligence Policy and Review, OIPR, which later became part of DOJ's National Security Division. From 2001 to 2007, Mr. Baker served as Counsel for Intelligence Policy and head of OIPR. In this position, he developed, coordinated, and implemented national security policy with regard to intelligence and counterintelligence matters for the department. Moreover, he provided the Attorney General, the U.S. intelligence community, and the White House with legal and policy advice on a range of national security issues and conducted oversight of the intelligence community, including the FBI, on behalf of the Attorney General. In 2006, Mr. Baker received the George H. W. Bush Award for Excellence in Counterterrorism, the CIA's highest counterterrorism award. A year later, he received the NSA's Intelligence Under Law Award, the NSA Director's Distinguished Service Medal, and DOJ's highest award, the Edmund J. Randolph Award. That same year, he became a fellow at the Institute of Politics at the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University and a lecturer at Harvard Law School. From 2008 to 2009, Mr. Baker was Assistant General Counsel for National Security at Verizon Business. He then returned to DOJ, and from 2009 to 2011, served as an Associate Deputy Attorney General working on a range of national security issues, including cybersecurity. Jim's experience as a career prosecutor and as a national security official, as well as his experience in the private sector, make him an excellent fit for his new position here at the FBI, said Director Comey. Mr. Baker holds a Juris Doctorate and master's degree from the University of Michigan and is a graduate of the University of Notre Dame. This news came on the heels of recent leaks from the White House communications staff, which came despite dire warnings from the new communications director Anthony Scaramucci. The Trump administration has been dealing with an unprecedented number of leaks, which most view as an attempt from within the government swamp to undermine the president and his agenda. Multiple sources with knowledge of the investigation have confirmed that Baker is the top suspect in the ongoing leak investigation, although it has not yet been confirmed what exactly he leaked. Circa confirms, Baker is a close confidant of former FBI Director James Comey, and recent media reports suggested he was reportedly advising the then FBI director on legal matters following private meetings the former director had in February with President Trump in the Oval Office. Baker was appointed to the FBI's general counsel by Comey in 2014 and has had a long and distinguished history within the intelligence community. After working as a federal prosecutor in the criminal division of the Department of Justice during the 1990s, he joined the Office of Intelligence Policy and Review in 1996, according to his FBI bio. On top of Loretta Lynch, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, James Comey, Huma Abedin and Hillary Clinton being investigated, it looks like the whole damn FBI under former President Barack Hussein Obama and James Comey might also have a hand in this mess. We can all guess as to how far this corruption goes, but whatever comes of it, we still have years to go until all this is sorted out. What a mess our government has become. Please share if you want to get to the bottom of this mess.